This is Daryl
And Aaron
on
on
Travel
Travel
with
with
D&E.
D&E.
If you're anywhere near Flagstaff, we highly recommend you go and explore the Petrified Forest National Park. I've seen a few petrified logs before, but this national park has thousands. That fact, combined with colorful and ever-changing terrain, along with the badlands and viewpoints spanning old Route 66 and both sides of I-40, adds up to an incredible and lasting experience.
The Petrified Forest National Park gets its name primarily from the vast amounts of petrified logs sitting in all corners of the 346 square mile park. The park has several painted desert overlooks in the front part of the park after the North Visitor Center. This includes Topani, Kachina, Pintado, Nasani, Whipple, and Lacey Points. They're all beautiful, just a little bit different, perspective or angle and color, but nevertheless all beautiful.
There's also the Route 66. The park has a stop on the tour to see the remains of a 1932 Studebaker to celebrate the old route that cut through the park. It should also be noted that the Petrified Forest National Park is the only park managed by the National Park Service with a section of historic Route 66 included.
The next point of interest is the Painted Desert Inn, which was built based on the vision of Bear David Lohr. Construction materials included petrified wood and other native stone. The home along with the 4 square miles was purchased in 1936 by the Petrified Forest National Park for $59,400.
Now we come upon the Newspaper Rock. So visit the archaeological site named Newspaper Rock to see over 650 petroglyphs on numerous rocks. The high concentration of petroglyphs indicates these rocks were an important area to indigenous communities. Also, with so many petroglyphs, it's difficult to interpret any particular story or storyline. Modern American Indian groups understand these symbols are likely family or clan symbols, spiritual meanings, and calendar events. Note that you can't see the petroglyphs with the naked eye. Spotting scopes are provided at the overlook. I also use my zoom lenses on my camera to get these shots below of the petroglyphs.
Along the drive, we came upon the Teepees area. It's an area of the park that has conical hills banded with mudstones that were thought to resemble teepees. Now we're coming up on the Blue Mesa Drive. The drive brings visitors down a spur road on a 5-mile round trip, taking them to the top of the Blue Mesa with scenic overviews of landscape, badlands, and trails. And there are numerous petrified logs along the drive. As you can see, we're talking hundreds and thousands of pieces of petrified log.
All right, now we made it to the Agate Bridge. The Agate Bridge is a stop along the park's main road about 18 miles from the north entrance of the park. It was originally called the Natural Bridge. It's an exposed petrified log that spans across a gully at Agate Mesa, forming a bridge. The log is 100 foot in length and 4 foot in diameter at the log's base. It spans 40 foot across the gully, 16 foot above the canyon floor. In April 1903, masonry pillars were built under the log to help prevent it from collapsing. By 1911, the masonry posts were replaced with concrete. The park used a concrete beam in 1917 to replace the previous concrete supports for $1,700.
Right past the Agate Bridge is Jasper Forest, which has an overlook of an area with high concentration of petrified wood. This area was originally called the First Forest as it was the first set of petrified wood that travelers would encounter as they came by wagon from the Adamana train station. It's just an unreal amount of petrified wood sitting down in the valley. It's pretty incredible, and you really have to see it with your own eyes.
All right, now we come upon the Crystal Forest Trail. The trail is named for the presence of colorful crystals that can be found in the petrified logs. The trail provides the visitor to walk amongst many petrified logs and experience their beauty. The looping trail is 0.75 miles. So real quick about the trails, there's a number of trails. So you got the Tawa Trail. It's 1.2 miles one way, and it's at the Tawa Point and Painted Desert Visitor Center. You got the Painted Desert Rim Trail at the Tawa Point and Gachina Point, 1 mile round trip. Puerto Pueblo, 0.3 miles, and it's at the Puerto Pueblo parking area. And finally, the Blue Mesas, we went by that as well. It winds through an area of blue-colored badlands and reaches the valley floor. The blue color is due to the presence of bentonite clay. It's a 1-mile loop. Then you got the Crystal Forest, the 0.75-mile loop, and it's at the Crystal Forest parking area. So the park entrances or exits, there's a north and a south entrance. A 26-mile paved road connects both the north and south ends of the park. Please make sure you get a map of the entrance to ensure you know where the overlooks and trails you want to visit are located. So first off, you got the north end is the one we went in, which is right above I-40. And this is the south end where we exited on the Highway 180 heading towards Holbrook.
What is the history behind the Petrified Forest National Park? President Teddy Roosevelt named 346 square miles semi-desert shrub steppe as a national monument in 1906, but it subsequently became a national park in 1962. The history of the park began in the 1850s when petrified logs were documented. European settlers began to come to the region in the late 1800s. There were settlers, ranchers, sightseers, and eventually commercial ventures recognized the value of the petrified wood and came to collect the logs. The park's deep history, badlands, and ecosystems, the record of human history, and dramatic scenery were reasons for the president to preserve the park and name it a national monument and subsequently a national park. The Civilian Conservation Corps brought in several resources that helped improve the park from 1934 to 1941. They built roads, trails, bridges, and other buildings supporting the museum.
Now, where is Petrified Forest National Park located? It's about 26 miles east of Holbrook along I-40. If you're anywhere near Flagstaff, we highly recommend you go and explore the Petrified Forest National Park. As you can tell from this post and the pictures, the site is awesome and absolutely beautiful and impressive. If you like this content, I know you're going to also enjoy all the other epic Arizona trip videos, especially the ones around Flagstaff. Again, there's a multitude of attractions east of Flagstaff to enjoy, including Two Guns Graffiti Art, Two Guns the Apache Death Cave, other Apache or Pueblo ruins, the Meteor Crater National Monument. It's just a whole bunch of stuff east of Flagstaff. So do us a favor, go subscribe, like that video, and feel free to share it. And don't forget to put a comment down below. Look, if you've been to the Petrified Forest National Park, I want to know what you think about it. Let everybody else know what you think about it. Put a comment down below in your experience. Thanks for watching, and as always, we will see you in the next video.